Hello, Oracles! Well, Tesla had a great day today despite the fact that CPI data came in at 9.1%. Tesla still closed over $700. We saw a high of about $726 today, and then there was a sell-off into close. And now we are seeing a little bit of a sell-off in Tesla after hours. This may be due in part to the fact that Andrej Karpathy just announced that he is departing ways from Tesla. Andrej was the director of AI, so that may be part of it. But as he said himself, there's hundreds of engineers that very much know what they are doing over there. They're just not in the public eye as much as he is. So when he took his departure and he went on a sabbatical 4 months ago, some people kind of anticipated that this was going to happen. I didn't think so, but it seemed like we've seen it happen in the past, so this has ended up happening, so I don't know what's going to happen going forward and who's going to take over, but we wish Andrej the best, and I think that Tesla is going to be strong despite him leaving. So we'll talk about how kind of wild today was. This morning we were green pre-market, which I thought for sure we were going to be red, and then we got the feared number with a 9 in front of it when it came to inflation. Expectations were 8.8% and we came in at 9.1%. Immediately the market sold off. Totally expected that that was going to happen. But then as the day went on, we actually went green for a good portion of the day until the sell-off at the end, where we ended up having the Nasdaq finishing at just down 0.15% and the S&P was down just under 0.5%. So Tesla definitely outperforming the market, and it was a great sign because we had discussed it before how 695 was the gap. We filled that gap. This morning we did pull down below that, but then rebounded and recovered quite nicely and finished over 700. This is a great sign. Now, just to take a step back, not to say we're going to go into a bull run of any sort, we do have Q2 earnings which are expected to be very weak coming up over the next 2 weeks, and the majority of the earnings from the S&P are going to be done by July 29th. So, by having all of those come through, we are going to get a big signal as to whether we are in an earnings recession. And don't forget, over the next 2 weeks, we are also getting the FOMC meeting on July 26th and 27th, and then on the 28th, we are going to be getting the GDP data. So a lot of information we are about to be going into over the next 2 weeks, so expect a lot of volatility with a lot of uncertainty over this time, because again, the market doesn't like uncertainty. So that's really what we're going to go into, and we could see some of these days like we've seen in the past where maybe we're 3% up one day, 4% down the next day, 4% up the following day. It could be wild like that. So just buckle up because the next 2 weeks could be a bit intense. Now tomorrow we have the PPI data coming out. The month-over-month number expectations are 0.8%. That is the same as we had seen last month. Now looking at the trends for PPI, that has kind of been a leading indicator as to where CPI has been going. And now looking at CPI, yes, we came in high, kind of expected it to be higher than expectations because oil prices have been persisting so much higher as well. However, over the last couple of weeks, those prices have come down. Now, President Biden is over in Israel right now, and following his trip to Israel, he's going to Saudi Arabia, where he's going to be meeting with them to discuss, amongst other things, oil prices and releasing more oil to bring the prices down. So if this does continue and the price does continue to come down on oil, then that could be reflected in next month's CPI. Some are arguing that it's not just oil that's going to bring this down, we've got core inflation that is high as well. And that is true that it is high, but we have actually been trending downward when it comes to core inflation. Now we did slightly missed core inflation today, but that is still trending down from where we were last month. And so with today's inflation readings, seems like we are most likely going to be getting a 100 basis point hike coming at the next FOMC meeting. So Canada just did that today. In Canada, they were expecting a 75 basis point hike and ended up getting a 100 basis point hike. Thank you to Abhishek for sharing that with me early this morning. So it seems like they have decided, you know what, it's just time to hit the wall and let's just do this and make it happen. Pull the plug and let's just get a 100 basis point hike done. most likely the Fed is going to be doing this as well. And so I'm kind of excited about it. Wish they had done it sooner, wish they had turned this corner sooner, but you can't look backwards because we can't go there. So either way, it looks like the market is pricing in about 1.5% hike in the interest rates through September through the next two meetings. So now this goes back to something we had talked about before, which is if the market is pricing in 150 basis points of hiking over the next two FOMC meetings, and they decide to go with a 100 basis point hike here at the end of July, and then all of a sudden we get oil prices continue to come down, and then we get a much lower than expected reading with inflation for August, and then we get another lower than expected reading for September, that might turn the Fed more dovish in September. And instead of going with a 75 basis point hike or even a 50 basis point hike, there may be discussions about a 25 to just a 50 basis point hike versus a 50 to 75 basis point hike. That could be enough to trigger a rally in the market. Now again, this is a long ways off, and we do have some things that need to happen along the way, and who knows what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks when it comes to all of the uncertainty and the market and where the stock prices are going to go. So lots to go through, but these are just pieces that I can see potentially happening over the next 2 months, where we can see some great buying opportunities coming over the next 2 weeks if we end up getting, this massive sell-off that many people are talking about due to the FOMC meeting, due to bad earnings, due to GDP data coming in indicating that we are in a recession. So that all in itself could cause a great buying opportunity, because then if we pay attention to the August CPI data, and if that number does come in low and lower than expected, then I can definitely anticipate the markets rallying a little bit off of that, and then going into September, if we get it again, we will have a great opportunity for that rally. So we could be seeing some great buying opportunities over the next 2 weeks. Now, coming to Tesla specifically, we also have the potential of a split coming up. So would you love to have a great buying opportunity right ahead of the split? I know I would. I mean, looking at some of the things that Tesla has going on in the future, we're going to discuss more about some of that in the morning. So now we're just going to kind of wait, because again, we have the FOMC meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, but we've seen in the past where the Fed may come out and say some things ahead of time to give us a little, indication of what their intentions are going to be at the meeting, to kind of move the market ahead of time to get a reaction. Because now, with the higher than expected CPI data, the market is anticipating that 100 basis point hike at 67% chance. So now the Fed can come out and say some things, as they have done all year long, to try and see what is the reaction of the market. If we say, we're thinking about doing a 100 basis point hike, how's the market going to react? Hey, we're thinking of doing a 75 basis point hike, how's the market going to react? So just pay attention to what the Fed may be saying over the next week or so, because that could give us the indication as to where we're going for the next FOMC meeting and how the market is going to react to it accordingly. And then my personal feeling on all of this is, the sooner we can get to interest rates that are higher to get inflation down, the better. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off, tear it off as quickly as possible. And I know that they've been trying to be gentle, because if you did it all at once like a Paul Volcker, you can cause some bigger problems. So I know they didn't want to do that, but they could have gone a little more aggressive. Again, hindsight's 2020, but many people had been saying this all along as well. And I think at this point, let's just do it, make it happen. We've kind of eased our way into it to start. Let's just pull it off, make it happen. Let's just cause the inflation to come down as quickly as possible, and then we can U-turn, because the Fed can easily turn around and just say, all right, we're good. We saw it in 2018 where the Fed was like, all right, well, the decision we made was the wrong one. We're going in the wrong direction way too fast. Let's change course. And they did it, and the market immediately turned around, and that was fine. So they can do the same thing this time around. So I think right now, it's just a matter of, let's make it happen. Let's see the inflation coming down. And then if you decide that, we raised interest rates too high too fast, you just turn a corner. And then the market will turn around very quickly right there afterwards. So hopefully they will make this decision. I would like a 100 basis point hike personally. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see at the next FOMC meeting. Do you want to see 75 basis point hike? Do you want to see 100? Do you want to see more than that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We also have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, I do have a Patreon, and that link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.